My man. So what would your definition be of financial freedom? Anybody. There's a bunch of different, there's no wrong answer. It's just your definition.
I would
Yeah.
say it's where work is optional and you're not worried about how you're going to pay bills. You have enough money to cover living expenses and the fun stuff and the extra.
Yep. I agree with that. 100%. So my definition is having enough passive income to cover my living expenses. So the key there is passive. That's the most important part of this. So you have to have enough passive income to cover your normal living expenses. So when I consider normal living expenses, I'm talking like for food, shelter, like the basics, not the extravagant stuff, but like food, shelter, things like that, car, gas, that kind of thing. So having enough passive income, and it's not as hard as you think. Like a lot of people think they can't get there, but it's really not as hard as you may think. So I want to challenge everybody on this call. It is 28 people on here. So, well, 26 including, well, 25, not including the board members. So I want to challenge you to basically just take inventory of all your income monthly, everything you have coming in every month, and everything you have going out for your expenses every month. Just take an inventory of that. And essentially what you'll be doing is developing a budget. So once you know these expenses, I want you to determine a plan to get enough passive income to handle that. So at that point, work becomes optional. So I'm at a point in my life right now where I don't have to work if I don't want to. Like it's optional. I have enough passive income coming in from my properties that it pays my bills, my normal bills. But I mean, I'm 39, I'm not gonna stop now. Like I'd be, scrambling just having my basic needs meet. I wanna live a fulfilled, abundant life. So that's why I'm still working, I'm still investing. So, I challenge you to just document the money you coming in, the money you have coming in, the money you have going out, and then figuring out specifically those expenses, like figuring it out, how can you get enough passive income to cover those expenses? All right. So like yours may be, I know mine starting out, it was $5,000 a month. That was my monthly expenses. I needed to find a way to have enough income coming in every month that I didn't have to work for to cover $5,000 a month. So whatever it is for you, just write it down. You have to measure it. That's the most important part. If you don't write it down, you're just guessing. All right. So with that being said, there's a framework. So it's budget, which we just talked about. You're looking at your income, you're looking at your expenses, and then you're looking at, the difference between them is your surplus. Budget, okay, never mind. I was looking at the chat. Let me get off the chat. All right, so budget, after you budget, then you have to save. After you save, then you have to invest. The problem is most people don't have a budget, first of all. And if they do, they likely just stop at saving. But I'm here to tell you that saving alone will not cut it. The problem is we're conditioned early. We're at an early age, save. You have to save your money, save. But I want you to think about this. Like, who told you that? Like, where did you get that information from? Always question the source, always. Because you probably learned that from somebody that's not wealthy, honestly. Just being honest. The problem is once you save, you budget, you save, you have to invest that money. That's the way to do it. You have to invest in order to keep up with inflation and or beat inflation. Keep up and or beat inflation. That's the only way you're going to do it. And in the book, I mentioned inflation rate of, I think it was 7%. So that's honestly what they report, what the government report is not the true numbers, y'all. The official rate, they say around 7-8%, whatever, but it's way more than that. I want y'all to look at a website called shadowstats.com, shadowstats.com. And that includes the true rate of inflation. It's on that website, way higher than you think. You think if the government was, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, let me clear the air. But you think if they really told us what the true inflation rate was, you don't think there'll be a problem with, they'll have a revolt. But anyway, enough of that. So let's just say inflation is 7%. All right. So in the book, I talk about if I had, there's a pie I wanted that was $1. Like today it was worth $1. But you know what? I'm going to forego that pie today because I don't want it. All right. Now, same time next year, 2024 rolls around. That pie is now worth $1.07 because of inflation. So it went up 7%. While I still have that $1, but I put it in a savings account. Let's say the savings, I think I looked it up earlier, your average savings rate now is about 3%. So in my bank account, I'll have $1.03. So now I can no longer buy that pie that last year was $1, now it's $1.07, but I only have $1.03. I can't afford it anymore. That's inflation. That's how it works. By just having your money sitting in the account doing nothing, earning whatever the bank's going to give you, you're losing. The bank's gonna take your money and go out and lend it to somebody else. That's how they get paid. So they make the difference, the arbitrage. They take your money, go out and lend it to somebody else. So what I'm trying to say here is I really need you to take your money. I'm not saying don't have a balance in your checking or savings account. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is taking that money and investing it in something something that you know that you can make a return on it. So like I know real estate, I know loans because I used to work in the industry. So that's what I do. I make my money buying properties and lending out money to investors, to other real estate investors. That's how I make money. So whatever it is, everybody on this call knows something. So take whatever you're an expert in, whatever you specialize in, find a way to make interest off of it. Just whatever you do, don't leave your shit sitting in a savings account. That's a no-brainer. I'm sorry, you ain't gonna win that way. All right. So look, I want y'all to check out this website. I talked about it before. usdebtclock.org. So I took this photo, the screenshot earlier today. I guarantee it's way more than this. As you can see all the way here, this is the US national debt, 31.6 trillion. It goes up by the second. So this was taken around 3 o'clock today. I'm guaranteeing it's way more. Well, I ain't gonna say way more. Well, I guess technically it is way more because it's probably more than this 572 million number. It's more than that, I'm sure by now. But anyway, it goes up every second. So you can see it in real time. But it's pretty cool. I think that's cool. You can see like debt per citizen of about 95,000, 94,000. Debt per taxpayer, 247,000. So just check it out. Pretty cool website. But the reason I'm bringing it up is as a government, the US, they need inflation because we're in $32 trillion worth of debt. So whenever you have inflation, right, you're locking in fixed debt that you're paying back with cheaper money. So like, remember this, over time, the debt goes down in value. And the reason being is because inflation. So let me give you an example in real estate terms. So let's say in the book, I talk about find a property. Let's say I have a 30-year mortgage. The principal and interest payment on that mortgage is $700 on that property. So $700 a month. That's what I lock in. That's my principal and interest payment on fixed rate debt. All right. So let's say 10 years goes by. All right. I'm still paying $700. However, as we know, as we just talked about, inflation erodes the purchasing power of your dollar. So my dollar is not worth as much, but I'm still paying back $700. Not only that, I have outsourced that payment, you know, paying down that mortgage to the tenant. So the tenant's actually paying it down for me. I'm not even paying it down. It's called self-liquidating debt. The tenant is paying down my debt. The value of the dollar has gone down. So I'm paying it back, you know, with cheaper money. So that's the value of locking in fixed rate long-term debt. And that's why the government likes inflation, because they're paying this $32 trillion back with cheaper money. The dollar is going to continue to go down. Every single day is going to continue to go down. So you have to do something with it and not just leave it in the bank. All right. So switching over to, if you have a question, cut me off. All right. So 3 types of income. If you've read like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, all those books, you'll see that heavy in the concept or the theme heavy in those books, right? So you see earned income right here. Earned income is also considered called active income. It's the income you receive from performing a service. So essentially you trade your time for money. All right. So if you don't work, you don't get paid. You can see on the screen here, it's like somebody working a job at McDonald's. So at the end of the year, you're going to get your W-2, right? That's earned or active income. The problem with this one is it's taxed at the highest rates. And the other problem with that is the school system pushes us into active income jobs. You know, it forces you to go get in the workforce so you can make your dollars and get taxed. That's just what it is. It's an outdated school system. They don't really force entrepreneurship on you like that. But anyway, another story. Next step will be portfolio income. That's a step up from active income. It's income received from like dividends, capital gains, interest on your investment. So think about it like a portfolio. Like you have a portfolio of loans, you're earning interest on it, or you have a portfolio of stocks, you're earning dividends on it. As you can see on the screen, they're talking about owning McDonald's stock. All right, so that's portfolio income. Portfolio and passive are close. They're similar to each other. People get them confused. The main difference is that with portfolio income, it doesn't come from regular business activity. So like what I mean here is like, let's just go to passive income real quick. So passive income is the almighty. That's what you need right there. That's if you want to escape the rat race, passive income is where you get it from. That's how you do it. That's the blueprint. All right. It's generated through regular business activity without you having to work for it. It's income that you receive with minimal effort to receive it. I'm sorry, it's income that requires minimal effort to receive it. So like as you see on the screen here, that's buying the McDonald's franchise. You think the franchise owner in there flipping burgers? Nah. You think the Chick-fil-A person in the, you know, taking orders? Nah, maybe at the beginning, like getting it up and running, but that's not what they're doing. They put in the work at the beginning and now they're just receiving checks. Same thing with real estate. You put the money, you know, the work in at the beginning, getting it stabilized, getting people in there, then you sit back, collect checks. All right. Anybody got questions on that? If you don't, just imagine doing something one time and then receiving a stream of income from that activity you did a long time ago. That's passive income. That's what all of us should be striving for, period. All right, so that's a quote. I'm sure y'all seen it before. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Warren Buffett. Pretty positive quote. Pretty positive quote. What you think he talking about? Unmute yourself. What is he talking about?
Passive income and stocks. We know he's a stock guru.
Yep, he talking about passive income. You know how much money he makes from dividends? Lord. I mean, he got a lot invested, but still he makes so much money off dividends. That's passive income. So he talking about stocks. I'm not a huge fan of stocks. I own them, but I'm more into real estate. So I'm talking about rental income. So that's my passive income. So yeah, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. Y'all get off that active income train. I'm not saying don't have any of it. I'm just saying don't put 100% of your earnings into active income. You need passive, all right? So you must find a way to get some passive income. All right, so why I love real estate? So where else can you get someone to give you most of the money? We're talking the bank. So the bank's giving you most of the money. You're only putting in a little bit. If you put in any at all, you may raise the funds, you know, as your down payment. Where else can you have someone else pay off the loan for you? We're talking about the tenant. Make money each month. We're talking about the profit, the cash flow. You can reap the tax benefits. So we're talking paper losses on your taxes. And then your equity increases with each payment. So it's a wealth generator, y'all. So you probably seen this slide before in the previous class that I did. You know, the advantages of real estate investing. The cash flow, we all know what that is. The income minus expenses. Obviously, you want to be positive here. This is probably the most important piece of real estate investing, in my opinion. That's what you need. Obviously, if you want to escape the rat race, you need that cash flow coming in. But like I've heard lately, I've been seeing a lot of people have been buying properties, especially on the like the coast, California, New York. They buy properties not so much for cash flow, but for appreciation. I don't like that game because there's no, I mean, yes, properties do go up in over the long term in value, but I'd rather have cash flow day one instead of, you know, spending money or breaking even. I don't believe in that because you have one, you know, problem, like one situation, a maintenance issue, and now you you're in a negative, or you have a vacancy and now you're in a negative, you're paying your own mortgage. You don't want to get into the game for that. So you absolutely must have positive cash flow each month. That's like that's the minimum requirement, positive cash flow. All right, so appreciation / equity capture. I talk about this all the time. Property values go up over time. We always gonna be thinking long term, always. And the loan is being paid down by the tenant. So as y'all know, every single loan payment, a portion of it goes to principal, a portion of it goes to interest. So as the payment is being made, every portion that goes to principal is just increasing your equity every single time. So like I said, it's all about the loan game. It's nothing, we ain't trying to do no get rich quick schemes here. It's loan, we thinking long term. Then the depreciation, I had a class on that before. That's the tax deductions that the government allows for. That's the paper losses. So that's why you see a lot of wealthy people buying real estate because they want to shelter income. So they're receiving income in the form of cash flow, and then they're not even paying taxes on that because of depreciation. So leverage, we talked about that. So that's the bank giving you most of the money to buy the property. You see in parentheses 0 to 25% down. That's because you can house hack, you know, and basically if you went with a rural development loan and put nothing down, or there's also like portfolio loans that different lenders have where you don't have to put nothing down. So leverage is important because you're not required to put down the majority of the money in the game. So you have some skin in the game because you may put down a down payment, but the bank is taking, you know, the most of that off your table and paying, and that's why leverage is important. And then inflation profiting, we just talked about that. If I'm like in the example earlier, $700 a month, they can't change that on me. I locked it in for 30 years. That's what I'm gonna be paying no matter what, unless I refinance. All right, so That's my 5 advantages of investing in real estate. That's why I'm big into it, and that's why I love it. I hope I convince y'all as well. All right, so you probably seen this quote before. Don't buy real estate, buy real estate and wait. It's a long game, a long-term game. Like I always, like my favorite type of investing is long-term buy and hold because of this. Imagine buying a property today that stays in your family and pays for your grandkids' education from the cash flow you're receiving. Not to mention, you have the ability to borrow against it and not pay taxes on that money because it's a loan. Anytime you get a loan, you don't have to pay taxes on a loan. That's the beauty of real estate. So go ahead and get you something. Like it's not difficult. Do you realize how powerful that is? Like if you think back to the redlining days, that's why, you know, we as a African Americans are further back than other races because we couldn't take part in that. You know, it's redlining. We couldn't get the funds. We couldn't get the money to buy houses. Our houses wasn't worth as much to them. So, you know, we couldn't borrow against our house to send our kids to school, to whatever, to fund renovations, to buy investment properties, but we couldn't do that. But now we can, so there's no excuses. Buy some property, y'all. So this is a easy way to shift your thinking, like when it comes to this property stuff. So it's basically owning the property for every bill. So remember, we're gonna do a budget. So you're gonna sit there, write out all your bills, your monthly stuff, write it out, figure out what it is. And then once you do that, you know, identify how much cash flow you need for each bill. Like for instance, this house that I'm standing in right now, that's my primary residence. Well, I have one duplex that pays my monthly mortgage on my primary residence. Just one property pays the entire monthly note on my house. So that's how you got to train your mind. You got to start thinking like that. Like if it's, I did this with the my SUV that I got, right? I knew I wanted an SUV. I knew what kind I wanted. I figured out a way I could buy a property that's paying for that every month. So you have to do the same thing. It's not as difficult as people make it to be. I'm telling you, you just got to take action and do it. So I dare you to give this a try. Just try to look at all your bills and then find ways to come up with passive income to cover these bills. It's going to change your life. So earlier, and let me know if y'all have questions, just stop me because I'm just going. I don't got that many more slides. So earlier I was scrolling on IG and somebody had reposted this, I guess from Twitter, but this is literally what I'm talking about right now. I don't know these people, so I ain't endorsing them, but the message hit home. Like, I don't know, I have no idea who these people are. But you see, you know, rental property 1 pays for their vacations, rental property 2 pays for the mortgage, 3 pays for the groceries, 4 pays for the vehicles, and so on. That's the game. That's the framework. You know, buy some assets to pay for those liabilities. As they say on here, it's a cheat code to living a stress-free life. Like you think if you have all these properties paying for these bills, you literally don't have to work no more if you don't want to. You will, I'm sure, because you ain't good with just being average. You want to get out and get more, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You got the properties paying for it. You want a stress-free life. That's the way to do it. So with that being said, here's the action plan. This at the end of the book. I talk about deciding, right? Before you do anything, you got to make the decision that you want to escape the rat race. I made that decision. You have to make the decision for yourself. No one's going to do it for you, period. It's on you to commit and get out of your current situation. All right. The second one would be shifting your mindset. So you can't fool yourself, right? Once you made the decision, you have to believe it wholeheartedly and have so much conviction behind it that no one's going to stop you from getting the way you're going. Like you have to believe it. And then you have to take action on it and do something about it. We talked about budget already. You know, list out your cash coming in and all that's going out. With the expenses that you have going out, what I would also suggest is a step further to that is categorize it as wants and needs. So what's wants, what's needs? The needs obviously is for, you know, the shelter, the food, that kind of thing. Wants, it could be for your materialistic items. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. You do what you want, but just list it out. And then if you don't have much surplus coming in after that, then you got to make some decisions. That's on you. You know, you want to decide, maybe I need to cut some of them wants out. Maybe I need to go out and get a side hustle. You know, figure it out. Like maybe I need to do a combination of both because it'll give me that the fastest. Whatever it is, just do something. That's my whole message here. Do something. And so whatever it is, just make sure you're tracking it because those excess funds, the surplus, is going to have to be invested. All right. So that's the next step, invest in it. The extra money you have coming in, it needs to be generating more income, period. Remember, if you're just leaving it there, if you're just leaving the money sitting around in a bank account, inflation is killing your purchasing power. Identify something that you're experienced in, and then just figure out ways to generate income from it. So I talk about real estate a lot because that's what I'm experienced in. That's what I love. But real estate may not be for you, and that's okay. Whatever it is, just find what do you like doing? What are you passionate about? What can you make a return on, and do it. All right. But the key point here is that you have to remember that it must be passive. Like it doesn't make sense. You don't need another job that you're gonna trade your time for money for. So whatever you're investing in has to be passive income coming in. That's the key. So at that point, once you have enough passive income covering your monthly expenses, then congratulations, you escaped the rat race. You won the game of life. You no longer have to trade your time for money. There's a good book. There's a good what is a good book? Yeah, but there's a good game on this. It's the Cash Flow Game by Robert Kiyosaki. I bought it. It's about $80. It's a game, but it's I think it's like $80. But check it out. You know, it covers this in detail. They give you different careers and different scenarios, and then it challenges you to get out of the rat race. So it starts you out with how much income you have coming in, how much your expenses are, and then you pull cards that give you an updated scenario, and you just got to use your mind to be able to exit the rat race. So I believe there's an online version as well where you can play with others across the world. But check it out. Definitely it'll help you with your strategy for sure. It's basically like an accounting game, kind of. It's weird because you like working, but you also learning at the same time. Like you're playing the game, but you're also learning. So it's pretty good though. I think the more and more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the easier you'll be able to apply those principles to real life. So check it out. This is the book. I didn't want to cover everything because I want you to go out and buy the book. So gotincomestreams.com is where it is, if you want to check it out. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Q&A. Like I said, I got a hard stop in 26 minutes. So if y'all have any questions, I would love to answer them. Let me see. I can't see. So Dan, I'll turn it over to you, my man. Thank you, Andrea. Oh, yes, I believe you can play it for free, Torian. Let me see. Natalie, you're correct. They stole the land. We were able to, yes. Uncle Sam's, yep. Torian mentioned a good point. So let me talk about that real quick, because I don't hear nobody. Dan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, so Torian, he mentioned earned income. Uncle Sam's gets paid before you do. That's so true. Like they take their taxes out of your paycheck before you even get it. You know what I mean? Like, y'all don't see no problem with that? I mean, it's technically nothing you could do about that part of it when it comes to earned income, unless you're a business owner and there's strategies around that. That's why okay, let's talk about this real quick. My bad, hold on. Let me, how do I stop sharing? I can't see y'all, I don't like that. All right, there we go. Cool, so let's talk about that. The business owner part of it. That's why I like being a business owner. Like I'm cool for paying taxes. We need taxes for roads, for schools, all that stuff. We need them, absolutely need them. But I'm not cool with overpaying the taxes. So that's why I have a business. That's why the goal here is to find those. I know we're about to get off topic, we're about to switch it up, and that's okay. But the goal here is to own a business, a small business, small, because I think it's like small is like 250 million and below, or 20 million and below, something like that. It's crazy. But anyway, so own your small business and you run your business expenses through that small business. All right. And the reason is because let's say, for instance, right now, as it's stated, prior to me owning my own business, right? So I have my own cell phone bill. I have my own car note. So what I was doing was, actually, let me show you something real quick. I'm gonna make it easier on y'all. I just did a newsletter on this. In the meantime, somebody ask some questions while I'm pulling this up. Please.
Got a question from Rashid. How does depreciation work in real estate? Everybody has the unmute button power. We've given it to y'all. So please unmute yourself and jump into the questions.
All right. Let me just pull this up real quick. So I do a newsletter every month and send it out to my my people in my database. So, oh, y'all can't see my screen, huh? Hold on. And I'm gonna come back to your depreciation question. I ain't forget. But I just want to stay on this while I'm here. All right. So can you see my email?
Yeah, we got it, bro.
Yes.
All right, cool. So employee versus business owner. I literally just sent this on Wednesday, March 1st, last Wednesday. Oops. All right. So basically, look at this graph right here. This is why it's important to be a business owner. All right, so this is assuming, in the example above I talked about, it's assuming, fuck it, I'll do that. Okay, so that's assuming the same employee and the business owner, both of them getting $1,000 a month, both of them paying 20% taxes, both of them, both of them paying 20% taxes. So that employee, they get their $1,000, they're taxed at 20%. So like we say, the government takes their portion out right off the bat. So they're left with $800, all right? So then they go out and they have their normal expenses. In this case, $750. Both of them have the same expenses, all right? So they're left with $50 of cash flow each month, and they pay taxes of $200, because that's their 20% taxes. As opposed to the business owner, they received the same $1,000, but now they ran all their expenses through the business. So they're left with $250, right? So the business owner pays taxes on whatever is left. So now they're paying their 20% tax. So they're left with more money, $200 in this case, and they pay less in tax. So that's why you want to be a business owner, because you can run your business expenses through the business. And then remember, the business owner pays taxes on whatever is left. So they're like in my case, I pay my phone, I pay my car, things like that through the business. So I'm paying it with before tax dollars. So I end up walking away with more money and paying less in taxes. So I'd advise y'all to really study this tax stuff. And it's the book again. Y'all can check it out. You dig? But yeah, I advise y'all to study this tax stuff. That shit, man, taxes and housing, that's your most important, your biggest expenses. Taxes and housing, period. But depreciation, somebody asked about depreciation. So the government allows all residential property to be depreciated by 27.5 years. When I say the government, I'm talking about the IRS. So you would take the value of the property divided by 27.5 years. That will be whatever they're allowing you to depreciate for the, let me do this. I know I have an email on this, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it real fast. So the government allows you to depreciate the property by 27.5 years, right? So whatever, to make it easier, let's say it's a $275,000 property. So that divided by 27.5 years, that's what, 10,000? Yeah, $10,000 a year. So the government will allow me to write off $10,000 of income each year for 27.5 years. The reason of doing it is because they're saying that your property is going to have wear and tear over the time you own it, right? If it's an investment property. So the first $10,000 I don't pay in taxes on the income. So if I receive $11,000 in cash flow for the year, I only pay taxes on $1,000. If I receive $9,000 in cash flow for the year, I will have a loss on my tax return for $1,000. But I still receive that money, that $9,000 or the $11,000 in this case. I still receive that money. It went in my pocket, or technically in the bank. But I received the money, but I'm not paying taxes on it. That's how depreciation works. Now there's strategies around it to where you can use bonus depreciation. They're wiping it out. This year is only 80%. The few years before that was 100%. Next year to be 60, the year after that 40 and 20. But anyway, it's still ways to be able to shelter some of the income you're receiving from investment property. That's the goal. That's how it works. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, let me know. And I can talk more about it. And whoever else have a question, just unmute yourself. Chat. I need lenders who can.
Hey, Antonio, how you doing, man? Congratulations on the book.
Appreciate it. Where you at?
It's Brian.
What up, bro? Let me. That's why I was pinned. All right, I'm ready. Go ahead. I got you.
What's going on, man? So in the book, I saw you noticed that you mentioned promissory notes. You mind talking about those real quick, like what you like about them, like what's some of the numbers behind them?
So I lend money out. Well, first let me backtrack. So in my previous job as a bank examiner, I used to have to review loans. I used to travel around the U.S. to different banks, looking at loans, making sure, well, basically everything dealing with a bank, I had to know all the operations of a bank. But anyway, so I'm real knowledgeable when it comes to loans. So I make loans out of my self-directed IRA to other real estate investors, and I make a return on it. So it's not like I can spend the money today, but it's going in my retirement account. So whenever I hit retirement age, I can pull that money out. So it's just an alternative. Instead of me putting all my money in stocks, now I have a separate bucket that I'm lending money out to investors, making a return on it. So like, for instance, I think he on here right now. I got like a developer in Houston. I think he on here, but I lend him, he got like 120,000 of my money, 120,000. He paid me 20%. So the benefit of me going through me instead of going through a bank is because I can fund deals quicker than a bank. I could do it in a day if I wanted to, but I'm not, because I want to do my due diligence. But the benefit to him as the borrower is he don't have to go through a bank and go through all the red tape, providing W-2s and income, and you don't have to do all that. Like credit reports, you don't have to do all that with me. It's quicker. But I'm gonna take a lien out on the property though, in case I don't get paid, and I'm gonna foreclose. I hope I never have to, but I can, and I will if I have to, but I don't want to because that's time and money. But anyway, that's what I do, promissory notes. So I lend money to a dude who in Baton Rouge who has a auto mechanic shop, and he was just trying to fill his inventory so he could fix the cars and put them on his lot to sell. So that a couple loans with him. So I get creative with it. I loaned to one of my frat brothers who owned a bar in Shreveport. I lent him money to stock his bar one time when he first opened. So I just, you get creative with it. It's fun. But I understand loans, so I'm cool with taking that risk because I understand it.
Does your company that holds the self-directed IRA, do they have any say in what businesses you can invest in, or is it 100% your choice?
It's 100% you. It's all on you. In fact, like there's certain things you cannot invest in, and like they can't advise you on anything. All they're there is for compliance, for paperwork and stuff. But if you were caught doing one of those things that's not allowed by the IRS, they can basically tell you that all of your money, everything you've ever earned in that account, the interest, is taxable at that point. I have a Roth IRA, by the way, Roth IRA for that. So all my money in there is not taxable. Like when I hit retirement, all that's my money. But I use iPlan Group in Ohio. There's a bunch of different ones. You use whoever you want. All of them have different fees. I would say I haven't looked at the fee structure since 2018, so I don't know what people are offering these days. But it's something you want to investigate though and look at the fees. That's gonna be the most important piece because none of them can't offer you advice. They're not allowed to offer you advice. They're just paperwork pushers.
Do you have an advisor?
A financial advisor?
Advisor as far as like the businesses go, or do you just make the decisions yourself just based off gut feeling and doing your research?
Yep, I make it myself.
That's right. Appreciate it.
No problem. Who else got questions? I got 16 minutes. Oh, what's bonus depreciation? Bonus depreciation allows you, okay, so I just talked about earlier, I gave you the example of the 275 divided by 27.5 years, which was $10,000 a year. Bonus depreciation allows you to depreciate property faster. The benefit of doing that is instead of me having a $10,000 write-off every year, let's say, we implement a strategy to do bonus depreciation. Now I can write off 30,000, 40,000 in the first year, second year. So remember, time value of money. Money today is worth more than money tomorrow because I can invest that money today. So that's the benefit of having more money today that I could take and invest. But bonus depreciation just allows you to do that. Is you have to do something called a cost segregation study, where you'll hire a company to come in and they'll break down every component of the building. So they'll break down the toilets, the faucets, the cabinets, and all of those components don't have a 27.5 year useful life. Some of them may have 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. So just imagine, like if you have all these buckets of components and then you're dividing it by 5 years, 10 years, whatever, it's going to be a larger number. So you have more to depreciate up front. So you walk away with a bigger tax incentive. You pay lesser in taxes. So, and then you can spread that out, over time. You carry forward losses into future years. Hope you got a little bourbon out of that deal. I ain't got no bourbon tonight though. I'm watching what I drink. I'm trying to get some abs. You dig? What do you think? Oh, what up?
Hi, this is Sasha. I am interested to find out if you hold one-on-one consultations. I have an investment property that I recently just put on Section 8. And so I'm looking to find opportunities where I can purchase like a duplex or something. But what's hard is you need so much down and I don't necessarily have that. So I'm looking for some assistance on what type of avenues I can go.
I don't, but for you, if you purchase the book, at the end of the book, there's a link.
I'm buying the book.
Okay, at the end of there's a button on the last page. You can click it and schedule an appointment, meeting with me.
All right, we'll do. And I'm gonna write it off. I'm doing my taxes right now. So it's right. You can write these books off, guys. So
there you go. Yeah, hey, good point. Where you been at? All me.
Yeah.
Jarvis, you said, what do you think of life insurance? I have it. My wife has it, and my 2 sons have it. I like it. I think it's a good idea. Everybody should have life insurance. Now, whether you're talking like strategies around it with term or you know, universal life or hold and all that stuff, now that's a different conversation. I'm not an expert in it, but I have it. But everybody should have some type of life insurance. Everybody on this call, no matter what it is. Like it could be a minimum policy. You need to have something. Just like everybody need to have a will on this call. By show of hands, if you have a will, you'll raise your hand, please. I'm just curious. Cause I know we changed the subject here, but y'all got to get them wills, man. That shit important. All right, so only 3 people on here got wills? 4, 5? Come on, y'all. We gotta do better. As a community, we gotta do better. All right, y'all can lower them. My bad. I just was curious. But get a will, man. That shit ain't that expensive. It's a couple $100. Just knock it out. You never know when your day come. For real. All right, who else got a question? Whole life trust. Hold up. Whole life or term. Leslie, whole life or term. Depending on you and your situation, what you're trying to get, your strat, your goals, honestly. I have both. What about trust? Rashid, what about him? What you want to know about him? Unmute yourself. Do it. Does everyone, hold on, where you at? Let me see. Rashid, where you at on here? I don't even see. You can unmute yourself, but I don't see you on the top. Oh, there you go. All right, I just pressed the button. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. My wife have a meeting, so I couldn't talk. What's I gonna say? Yeah, trust. Is it a good how does that factor into real estate? Like having a trust, like, you know, putting into trust, having, you know, property, what value, like, you know, what's the $100,000 property worth, you know, putting in the trust? Like, do you have, you know, what's your view on that?
Okay, so when it comes to trust, I know some people on here probably tired of hearing me talk about it. All right, so let's start with will. So will is a document that dictates why you're living, what you wanted. First of all, hold up, let me back up. I am no attorney. I'm no state attorney. I don't have no license for that. I'm just telling you what I know. So take it with a grain of salt, do your own research. That's my disclaimer. All right, so will. That's your legal document that you're signing and notarizing in front of, you know, in Louisiana, there's 2 witnesses, dictating where you want your assets to go, right? So that's what a will is. A will, if you don't have a will, or if you do have a will, you still have to go through probate court. Probate court is the court where the judge, you know, they look at your will and people can contest the will and say it's not legal to you and all that stuff. So anyway, either way go, will or no will, you go to probate court. In probate court, they're gonna get into your business. They're gonna, you know, start looking into your stuff, trying to dictate who gets what. To alleviate all that, you get a trust. So I have a will and a trust. So the trust, it skips probate court altogether, and whoever you have as your beneficiaries, whatever you have in the trust goes to them, or however you spell it out in your trust. You could do it all kind of ways. So I have a will dictating, you know, who I want all my stuff to go to, but I also have a trust that owns all of my companies and owns like my personal residence. So the trust owns that, because whenever my time comes, I don't want to have to go through probate court and my heirs have to pay fees for that, and people getting all into the business or people fighting. I have it laid out in paper, in writing, notarized, saying exactly what I want to happen with my assets. So that's what a trust, that's the benefit of having a trust, is you skip probate altogether. Doesn't have to go that route. People not in your business, is a smooth process. So I would say this: once everyone, whoever's on the call listening and are interested in trust, once you feel you have a good amount of assets, and when I say good, I mean it's relative, it's what you think is good. You know, once you get to that level and you feel like you need a trust, then get it. Because you're gonna skip probate altogether. You're gonna avoid people fighting over your stuff, and it'll just make it way easier, the transition easier. Referring to that word, okay. Yeah, so it's not too bad. I want to say I paid, everyone's going to be different. So I would ask that if you do look into this, like ask maybe 2 to 3 people, because I got different fees from different people. I think I paid maybe $700 for my will. And that's for me and my wife. And then maybe $1,300 for the trust, maybe a little bit more, something like that, $1,500. But everyone is going to be different, because the one who I got the trust through, another person quoted me $3,100. So it really just depends on the person. They all charge based on their time. So just do your research, and wherever you're located, just make sure that the person you go through is licensed in that state and they're familiar with the laws of that state. Because I didn't know, at first I went through a California attorney to get my trust done, because I was the first trust I had, because I listened to somebody else and it was clearly wrong. They had the wrong legal language. If you know Louisiana, like, it's different down here. They use a lot of different terms that's not normal. The law down here is totally different from other places. So just make sure wherever you go, they're licensed in that state that you live in, and where your assets are or whatever are located. All right, what else y'all got? Who else got a question? Nobody else ain't got nothing? I can't see.
Yeah, I'll scroll through the chat. You got everything, my friend.
I already
Cool.
bought the book, cousin. Do I get a private consultation?
There we
Yeah,
go.
man. The last book. I mean, if you read it, you would know. It's at the very end. It got that
No, I
big.
haven't read it yet. I'm gonna read it though.
It got that big red button at the end, says schedule a call. Come on, man. Come
All
on.
right, yeah, I'm gonna get to it.
I appreciate your support, though.
No doubt.
Anybody else got any questions, comments?
I'm about to purchase that book.
Appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the support.
Yeah, I got a question. Who's like a good lender for like as far as beginning and investing? I have a property, but I'm looking to get my second property. Who would be a good lender that you could recommend?
Where you at?
I'm in the tri-state area, Jersey, Connecticut, Philly, New York area, but not looking in New York, mainly in Jersey.
All right. So you know all the lenders are gonna have licenses for different states. I know this one right here. I'm about to put it up on the screen. Oops, I missed it. Hold on. This one right here, they lend pretty much. They lend specifically to investors. Like, they're big on investment. Like you can see here, total number of investment properties funded 45,000. And I can't verify these numbers. I'm just going by what the website say. And I'm a part of the little community. It's a free community. You can see right here, join the Bridge Lending Group community. It's a Mighty Networks community or whatever. And I listen to their podcast, but all they talk about is investment properties, and that's what they fund. So you can look into them, Bridge Lending Group. Another one would be Visio Lending. You can look into them. So that's two. Yeah, I would start. Oh, there's one right here. This another one that's in your area, Moffitt Loans. So that's three right there. Bam, there you go. So you got options. So I would look into those three, and I'm sure one of them will be able to take care of you. I don't get no commission for none of this. I'm just telling you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yep, no problem. Anybody else? Yep. And make sure you get some passive income. If you don't learn nothing else from this conversation, passive income is the wave. That's what you want. That's what you should be striving for if you want to get out that active, that rat race, that trading time for money stuff. That ain't what's up. Not forever. Like, it's cool to do it at the beginning because you're building, but it ain't something you want to do in your late 50s, 60s, 70s. You want to enjoy life. Actually, you want to enjoy life now. You don't want to wait till retirement to enjoy life, honestly. So in order to do that, you need to go ahead and get you some passive income.